What's up everyone? Thank you for tuning in for another renovation video. I know it's a little bit out of the norm of my normal videos. Me and my dad finished another renovation project. This one was a spare room, and honestly, going into it, I thought this was just gonna be a very simple, cheap renovation. And by the time we got done and I looked at the numbers, it was more expensive than I would have imagined. First things first, if you've watched my living room renovation video, you'll know about this. If not, I'll put a link wherever the pop-up is. So I have this very small spare room. It's about like a 10 by 11, and there was a closet that went outside of the room into the living room, and I actually took that whole closet out because it just, when you walked in my front door, you just like ran smack dab into like the closet, and with how I was renovating it and mounting a TV, I just knocked the whole thing out. It just made more sense. So in doing so, that left, a drywall hole where the closet was that we reframed back in. But I also noticed on that wall, the outlets that were down there, they were completely flush with the wall. And after a closer inspection, I realized they put some panel board on top of the drywall. I very carefully, peeled back all this panel board, trying not to damage the drywall. And when I got it off, it was just glue smears everywhere, very like rough texture, all this stuff, not worth doing anything with other than honestly just ripping it out. And so we just ripped all that drywall off, and I re-drywalled that wall. And after that, you got the taping, the mudding, the sanding, all that fun stuff. And that all came out to about $40. So after that, the walls were all done. Honestly, I just had to fix that one wall. So this is why I thought it was gonna be a super simple project, right? So I just primed everything, including the ceiling. I painted the walls a dark gray color. It was actually the leftover paint that I used for my accent wall in the living room. So, I wanted to save some money there. I also just, used the rest of the paint for the ceiling from when I did the bathroom across the way. I didn't go out and just like buy new paint, but I still kind of calculated a cost in there because it still technically was money that I spent previously. So with that in mind, the primer and then the paint that I used for the walls and ceilings, I'd say it came out to about $32. Next, I ripped out all of the carpet, all of the padding, because I was gonna replace it all, ripped out all the trim everywhere. Then we addressed the electrical issues. This is an old house, so in that room, like a lot of my rooms, there's actually two light switches when you walk in. One would control like the newly added ceiling fan, and the other one controls like an outlet across the other side of the room. So my dad rewired it in there. That way the outlet on the far wall is just always hot, and that way I only had one light switch on the wall that controlled the ceiling, and then I just put a blank cover over the dead outlet because I didn't want to try to patch it. Honestly, I just didn't feel like doing it. So along with that, I went ahead and replaced all of the outlets around the room because they were just like beige and nasty and all that stuff. So put new covers on everything, all of that. I also installed an outlet box in the ceiling where the fan goes because when I took it down, there was no box, just screwed into the ceiling and stuff. So that's always safe. It's always good to find that out later down the road when you've already been living in there and using it and wondering how it didn't just fall out of the ceiling. So in all, that wasn't that expensive, about $12. So far we've been sitting pretty, right? No big cost, but we'll get to that. Because next I replaced the door, and the old door is just like just nasty old, tore out the frame, did all that. We put in a new door, got new hardware handles, all that stuff. Even from the last time that I bought like my bathroom door, the doors went up like $40 or whatever. It's insane at this point. The door plus the doorknob and all that good stuff was $173. Next, I put up a temporary light in the room. It's actually the one that I'm going to use in my bathroom renovation. It just came in a 2-pack when I bought the one for my other bathroom. And so I plan on putting a ceiling fan in this room. However, I want the ceiling fan in my 3 rooms to match each other. And I don't have the money to buy 3 ceiling fans right now. So I just went ahead and put up that temporary light until I can afford one. But I've done some research and looking around, and the ceiling fans that I'm gonna buy are probably around like $120. We're just gonna throw up $120 and say that's what the cost for a ceiling fan is gonna be when I get it. Next, we got another big hitter. We got all the base trim, the door trim, the window trim. We actually went with a little bit better quality wood this time instead of like the composite kind of stuff we normally go with because it's cheaper. So we went with like pine this time because I was getting recarpeted and we didn't want them just like totally destroy the cheaper stuff. So spent a little bit more money on this one. This all cost about $94, and of course I had to paint them and do all that stuff as well. But again, just used leftover paint that I had from doing the other stuff. And next we come to the big boy right here, the carpet installation. This one was just kind of a headache because we didn't do it ourselves. I had someone come out. I actually went through Lowe's because they said if you bought it through them, you know, they do free installation, and I just thought it'd be cheaper because, you know, no install than having someone else come out and do it and all that. So I picked up my carpet, and I honestly didn't get like expensive carpet. Like it was honestly just kind of like middle grade stuff maybe, but between that and the foam board and then their free installation service is what they tell me at least, and you know they installed tack strip and did all that came out to a whopping $549, which was a shock for a very small tiny room, and it scares me for the other rooms that I'm going to carpet. Carpet's expensive, everyone, just throwing that out there. And now I am super glad that I put down vinyl planking in my living room. Next, we have the little transition piece between the hallway and the door. That was about 15 bucks. My dad had to, you know, cut around the door because it was a little bit, you know, weird. We couldn't really get it to, so it was like sitting underneath the door frame or like whatever. So we had to like cut into it. But my dad, super great at what he does. He made it look good, super nice and tight, just the way we like it. Unfortunately, they're like super long pieces. I tried to, you know, cut them and then use the cutoff for another door, but it's literally like an inch short. Man, it drives me crazy because then you have to buy a whole new one just for being an inch short. Anyway, sorry, that's just moving on. That's honestly all I did for the room. I didn't replace the blinds because after replacing the blinds in the kitchen, I realized they were so freaking expensive, and it's just honestly not worth it, to be honest, for like the spare room. Like I don't care. It's gonna be covered by a curtain anyway. It just ain't no big thing. So I kept those nasty things up there and we just wrapped everything up. The only category left is the miscellaneous. So we're talking foam rollers, the DAP that I used on like all the trim to fill in all the staple holes, a floor vent, the door stop for the door, and that comes to about $22. So in total for this room that I really felt like I didn't do anything, right? Other than replacing the carpet and putting like 2 pieces of drywall on, I honestly like didn't spend money. And somehow the total came to $1,057. But then, you know, you gotta add tax, so it ends up coming to $1,131. But then I shop at Menards, so you minus that 11% rebate. And in total, it comes to $1,007. And again, honestly, like going into this, I guess I just didn't realize how expensive carpet was. Obviously that's like half the cost. And that's for free installation. I can't imagine, you know, if I had to pay for labor on that one. But yeah, it was just way more than I thought. You know, $1,000 for something I thought was literally just gonna cost like a couple $100. So definitely shocked me because I don't notice this, right? Like I do multiple projects at one time. I was doing this room while I was doing my bathroom, and you know, it's over the course of like months and months and months and months, and you know, you spend 20 bucks here, 20 bucks, you know, buying little things like you don't notice, and then I add it all up and I'm just like, dang, that was $1,000. Definitely crazy out there. You know, prices are just getting worse and worse. So if you have projects, just try to get them done honestly. That's my advice, because it's not getting any better. That's all I got. That's why it's a little empty. I'm gonna start moving this room into that room and make that my filming room. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm like over halfway done with renovating the inside of my house. I just have this room, my bedroom, and my bathroom to do, and then I'm done with the inside of my house. So I'm super excited about that. Hopefully we can get it done next year. But you know, the way things are going. Anyway, yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.